All right, family, we back at it. Going into what's going on over there in Texas, and really what's happening around the world. I mean, a lot of the spreading of people everywhere. You know what I mean, and the disruption that it causes because it's not done in decency and order. You know what I mean, but make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check out the affiliate channels in the description below. So, basically, the National Guard might be called upon over there in Texas to try to get that under control. The reason I'm bringing this up is because, like I talked in the previous video that I just posted, is civil war is part of the plan when it comes to getting order out of chaos, or the Hegelian dialectic, that they use, problem, action, reaction, solution, that kind of stuff that they do. Civil war is a big part of it. You know what I mean? How much are we gonna be here for the really, really bad part of it? I don't really know, but we can see that this year, this election and stuff like that is going to be one of those ones that can definitely put something like this into action really quickly. So I'm gonna play this video, and then I'll play a couple of things that I've seen over the years, you know what I mean, as far as like foreshadowing and them just letting you know ahead of time what's going on or what's going to happen, like they always do. But let's go ahead and watch this video.
Congressman Pat Fallon joins me now.
Fair use.
Congressman, as you may have just heard, the White House is considering federalizing the Texas National Guard, which could mean a direct clash at the border between federalized troops and the state authorities. Are we going to see a confrontation?
Well, Stuart, that'd be a huge mistake for the Biden administration if they do that. The last time any National Guard troops were federalized was during the Eisenhower administration and the Little Rock Nine. And if Joe Biden does this, he may be, go down in history as the Mexican drug cartel 9 million, because there have been almost 9 million people that have crossed the border illegally over the last 3 years under his watch. So I think politically it's a disaster. I think from a policy standpoint, it would be a horrible move. But we'll see. But this administration has done both those things. They've made bad policy decisions, and they've made bad political ones.
Well, how do you see this playing out? There's got to be some kind of resolution at some stage here. What's the resolution?
Well, what would be wonderful is some Trump-era policies worked very well. Wait in Mexico. I was down on the border, Stu, a few weeks ago, and the Customs and Border Protection agents were telling us if Joe Biden just instituted the Wait in Mexico policy, that we would see a 70% reduction in the flow of illegals to our border. But he refuses to do that. He has the power, he has the tools at his disposal right now under executive authority to solve this, not even crisis anymore, really, it's a cataclysm. He chooses not to. It boggles my mind.
The Senate discussion, the Senate border discussion, looks likely to collapse because Trump says it's meaningless. That's the impact of Trump's surge on Congress. He's going to wreck, and I'm not saying this is bad or good, but he is going to make those talks collapse on the border.
Well, quite frankly, Stu, where we were before, there wasn't anything that was, there was no real teeth in that agreement. It was window dressing, quite frankly. We need, the teeth that we need in there. We need expedited removal. We need wait in Mexico. We need to build additional, if Joe Biden wants to call them barriers and not walls, I could care less. But we need barriers along the southern border. Those are the concrete things that will help mitigate this crisis dramatically. And those weren't in the agreement anyhow. So I do agree with President Trump. We got to get serious and put some teeth into these compromises.
The Democrats say, look, the Republicans are just spinning this out. They don't want a solution. They want a political issue for the election, and they're exploiting this as a political issue. What's your response to that?
They couldn't be more wrong. And you know what? If the Democrats didn't have double standards, Stuart.
Don't really care about their politics when it comes to, if that side will just do this and this side will just do that type of stuff. And it's like, man, y'all, yeah, I ain't gonna go there. Different wings on the same bird. So yeah, you can see that what's going on over there. Now you have had, I ain't gonna find the videos for them, but they've been doing a lot of drills for going through cities at nighttime like our own troops, like not our mine, but the U.S. troops in cities, like in neighborhoods, practicing going, dropping down from helicopters, going through neighborhoods and stuff like that, or city blocks, at nighttime with black, the pitch, I forgot what they call them, Black Hawk helicopters and stuff like that. So really dark, using night vision. They order a lot of night vision goggles. I think that was a couple years ago that was brought up. How they bought a lot of night vision goggles and started doing a lot more training in that, which also points towards something possible like an EMP, something like that possibly happening, along with just power outages in general. Now, obviously, when you talk about power outages, obviously that brings leave the world behind and what was happening there, which also instituted, talked about that civil war as well. So you got power outages and stuff like that. Things are going to happen during this time. Um, it's a lot of different things, and they can go a lot of different ways, and some of it are going to happen all together. Maybe not simultaneously, but pretty close to it. So one movie, you guys might remember from, I think it's like 2016, 2017, Captain America, Civil War, and they was basically having to, choose sides. Like they're supposed to be all be on the same team, supposed to be America. Basically this is a America movie. And they're at war with each other. They got to pick a side and stuff like that, and see where their allegiances lie and all that kind of thing. So that's one thing I wanted to point out, because it was also letting you know ahead of time. Like I said, they already planned on these kind of things happening. So another movie. What is this? So another movie is Captain America, which is crazy. So it says Brave New World, but before they changed the name, because when it first came out that they're coming out with this movie, it was called Captain America New World Order, and for some reason they changed it to Brave New World, which is crazy. I don't know why that is. I keep typing in Captain America New World Order, and Brave New World keeps pulling up. And I'm like, man, I know it was called, New World Order, but now it's called this. It might have just been a little too much on the nose. So I'll play this trailer.
What Steve did was a gift to mankind. But we can't keep looking back at the past, because now the rules have changed. Cyber attacks, corporate espionage, and terrorism.
You got intel on them?
Whispers in the dark call them the Serpent Society. An organization composed of some of the most dangerous individuals to the world order.
We have to stop this group no matter what.
It's going to be more complicated than that, Captain.
And why is that?
Well, get ready. After this, the world is never going to be the same. And you are going to be faced with a choice between what your symbol means and what it could become. There's a new order to things.
I'm not turning my back on my country.
Alright, so you got that movie, right? And then, like I said, Leave the World Behind. And then this movie is called Civil War. It's supposed to come out in April. Obviously, there's another April thing right there. But this one, a lot of people were saying is similar to what would happen after Leave the World Behind. So it's almost like if there was a Leave the World Behind part 2. You actually start seeing like what's going on in the cities and different areas. After, because you got in mind, you remember that was only like a couple of days. I think that movie was only like 2 days, maybe 3 days or something like that. So you're talking about what happens afterwards and how people start to live and move about and have to interact with each other. This movie shows that. So I'm gonna play this clip.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I'm guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas.
Look at that. Of Texas. So Western forces of Texas and California. And the reason they say that is because you're talking about two border states, you know what I mean, dealing with border crises and stuff like that. And they basically militarized themselves. Texas definitely will be one that would do that because they actually have their power grid is separate. They have like their own power grid, so they can survive a hit if the U.S. got hit with something more like a cyber attack type of deal or something like that. They might be able to even if their system went out, it might be able to get back up a little bit faster or might not go down at all or whatever. You know what I mean? So they have their stuff a little bit more separate than the rest of the U.S. And then when it comes to California, it might just be a matter of just military might. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the what you will see in these movies is the militarization of guys that might be more like on Trump's side. You know what I mean? You have more of those kind of guys inside of the military. You know what I mean? And a lot of those guys can't stand Biden. You know what I mean? Or whoever else might come in and not really want to protect the country the way they feel it's supposed to. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, interesting that this started with, you know, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California.
The so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
We're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death.
Every time I survived a war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Bad news. God is not going to bless America. Now, I just thought of something. Just to throw this in here real quick. So give me a minute. So hopefully I can find this real quick. I don't know if I can. It's looking like I can't find it. So I had came across, I think I was watching Marfugal News, a good channel to watch for you to get some like news updates and stuff like that. But I was watching Marfugal News and he was talking about how the Russian troops are training to have a nuke simulator that simulates like explode like big bombs or something like that. I think I might have right here. So Russia says its scientists created a new, and this is supposed to be a new version because they had one already, I guess. But this is like the new version of it. So it says they created a new nuclear simulator with flash and mushroom cloud effects to train soldiers. So this is supposed to be a picture of one of their simulators. So basically what they're doing is you'll have your troops, way out here, a couple miles away or whatever, and you have these going off while they're going through their training. So they might have like a makeshift like little town or something like that, to simulate going through neighborhoods and whatnot, or wherever they think this is going to happen at, and they set these off so they don't lose concentration on what's going on around them. And stuff like that. So you talking about taking real life simulations, for war, like to a big level, out there dropping simulator, type nukes or whatever, by your guys, so they're not rattled. So if you don't think that, war is possible, if you're one of those people, or if you know somebody that's like that, just show them like, hey, these things is heating up. When it comes to bricks, I probably have to do another video just on dealing with bricks alone, but the progress that they're making, is all biblical. That's already written, that we all, I won't say we all, but a lot of us understand is gonna come to fruition, at some point. We don't really know when, but there's only so many red lines that are gonna be crossed before, someone actually does something that's just gonna turn the tides, versus this little proxy wars and stuff like that. Everybody going back to normal, they took their little blue and yellow flags down from their icons on their social medias and stuff like that. Like everybody's going back to normal. The CV's gone, it's lingering around in the back of people's minds here and there with some lingering health problems that some people may have, and things like that. But for the most part, everybody's kind of just going back to shaking and moving like they used to, with just more restrictions on what they can buy with their money, because everything's more expensive. But just just sometimes just put little things in people's ears, like if you haven't bought some extra food and water in a while, when you go to the store, just pick up an extra bag of like 5-10 pound bag of rice and put it in some Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Like, you're talking about you spending an extra $10 for beans and rice, and maybe some seasoning, while you're at the store, every now and then, same thing with canned food, just stuff that you guys don't really mind eating. Just pick up a couple extra cans, check the date, see if you can get some that are like 2 years out or something like that. But just do the little things, even though it's harder and harder to do those things. But if this stuff happens and it catches you off guard, people are going to be really, really in a tough place, and some people are going to find out if they are going to do things that they thought they'd never do before. So just keep that stuff in mind. And that's it. I ain't gonna add any more to this video, but yeah, they're out there training, and the US, about a couple years ago, they started training on flying, having some of their pilots fly planes and helicopters and stuff like that on highways and freeways and stuff like that. So that means the reason they do those is if the air bases are all hit, and the ones that are in the air and need to come down or whatever, move troops from here to there, they're gonna have to start using the actual streets instead of bases, because they're gonna be under surveillance and they're gonna be getting bombed. So if you're training for stuff like that because things are getting hot, it's just a matter of time. So all right, I'll see y'all on the next one. Hopefully you again, make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna try to make sure I do these maybe like twice, 3 times a week, most out willing. So